What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. Got an exciting one for us again today. Hope everybody's ready to raise that IQ. Welcome to the channel. And let's hop right into very sorry to anybody at home. I don't know why that was maxed out. Well, welcome to Underground Crypto, where the music sometimes is way too loud. You guessed it. Yeah, that should be turned down now. We should be good. Let me know in the chat. Better. It's like the contrast. Since it was like way too loud, now even when I turn it to the normal volume, we probably feel like it's too loud. What I was saying was we started the crypto bubbles, and I don't really see anything too crazy popping out at me. Nothing really strikes me too much until we get up closer to that 10%, rather up or down. And I see Pump.Fun 6.9% down, Zcash 9.8% down. Let's hop down another 100 here on the bubbles. How is it now? I turned it down just a little bit. No, it's perfect now. Yeah, it should be back to where it was. Jasmy pumping again. I want to look at this thing on the weekly. Yeah, so basically we had a nice pump, then we pulled back a little bit, and then we kind of just got back to where we were. That's interesting. I wonder what is pumping Jasmy. Walrus. Okay. We talked about Walrus. That was one of our deep dive coins the other day. We got Pippin, the ugliest unicorn you have ever seen. 26.3% pump today. Ultima 7.4%. See big losses here. I mean, you have some things in like the 8% region, AMP, XPL, River. But to me, those are not, you know, monumental by any course. Shout out to Melissa. Thank you for being here and always being an awesome mod. I actually figured out how to get a permanent link for the Discord. So that link that I just put should be the permanent link. Look at this. We've looked at this coin a couple of times. It did a 500% increase today. I don't know. In the back of my head, I feel like we should have saw this coming, right? Because, hey, there's some people with some deep pockets over there in the Middle East. And what would it be for one of them to throw, I don't know, something like $100 million around? Literally nothing to a lot of them. For a coin on the international stage and a new emerging technology, a lot of people who are, you know, influencers and different things tend to live in, like, you know, Dubai and stuff. So I could just see where that could get a pump. Well, I thought about it a couple of times. It wasn't really enough to get me to buy it. Yeah, where's Blues Guy at? I was literally just texting Blues Guy, so I don't know where he is. Maybe Blues Guy is mad at me. Maybe I made him mad. Deep Book 18.8 or 15.8%, CLO 33.5%, L 14.9%, UB 17.2%. So some bigger movers, of course. This ISLM. Man, I cannot talk. Yes, I still have a little bit of a sore throat. I'm feeling all right for sure, but my throat is a little bit sore. Brevis still dropping in numbers. It's not doing too hot. Reminds me of a coin that came out called Anoma. AI Companion, which I'm not a big fan of. So seeing it drop 16% really doesn't hurt me much. Blame it on the Crusaders. You're hilarious. He's probably driving home from work. That's very possible. I'm not sure if he was off today or not. I don't know. All right. So let's move on from here. If I'm a little bit sluggish, it's probably just dealing with a sore throat all day has got me a little exhausted. Bitcoin, 90,892. And Ethereum, 3,092. This is pretty funny because, you know, I've talked many times about this, staying above 90,000 for BTC, staying above 3,000 for Ethereum. And to me, I'm basing that very much off of psychological levels, not like some grand TA that I came up with. But I bet you would probably find quite a bit of support if you went and looked. But that is a little bit of a guess. All right. XRP, $2.12. BNB, $888. We're going to run through this quickly. Solana, $138. Dogecoin, 14 cents. Cardano, 39 cents. Scroll down a little bit more. We got Monero now. The Lifer was talking today about Monero being one to watch because he liked the TA on it. So maybe we'll keep an eye on that. It was like Zcash ran and Monero really didn't do much of anything. And now they've like swapped. Now Monero is running and Zcash is down 17.7% in the last 7 days. So what does that tell me? I'm wondering if that's going to be kind of the MO for these, right? Like they're going to run against the grain maybe sometimes, but maybe we're going to flip-flop between different ones now as maybe the liquidity to move them is a little bit less. People have taken profits. Oh, the dev team left. Thanks, Camsta, for letting me know. Yo, ETH just dumped on me. That one guy. Hopefully you got your situation figured out with Mexi Global. Did that deadline already hit? Yep, evening deep divers. Please don't forget to tap the like button and subscribe, and then to the channel. I can feel it, guys. I'm a little bit off today. I hate to admit it, but it's true. But I'm going to bring the energy anyways, and we're going to get through the stream. Of course, there's always that little voice in the back of your head. It's like you could, you know, you're not feeling the best. You could just cancel the stream. But I certainly don't want to do that. XLM, 22 cents. Zcash, 431. I'm glad you told me about that, Camsta, as I had not caught that. The thing here's the thing that's interesting. The dev team left Zcash, but like what dev team? Like the original dev team from when they came out? Because let's pull up Zcash and look at the max, right? The max takes us all the way back to 2016, October 28, 2016. When it came out, it was worth like $3,000. And if you look at the whole overall chart, it's like been pretty crappy, honestly. It's really funny that this thing came out in 2016, right? Like died immediately down to like $30 from 3,000. It did have a little bit of pump. Probably that was the bull run, right? It went back up to like, I don't know, probably like $600 or something. Yeah, I went back up to $880. So if you got from 30 to 800, like you weren't salty about it for sure. But I do have to say, it really just dropped immediately. It had a very small pump, and then it's been pretty dismal. And then you're telling me this coin from 2016, privacy coin, we wait all the way until like September, October 2025, and we're excited about this coin. Like this coin is like a real coin. I don't know. And they could have been building this whole time, don't get me wrong. But the devs left, but it's like, what devs were they? Were they the original devs from 2016? Highly doubt that. Anyways, just wanted to put that on the radar. It's like, you know, maybe they got a bunch of devs in, and then they helped get some attention around the product, innovate some things, and then what, now they left? Well, they'll get more devs. I see devs in every group I go into. They're all looking for work. A lot of them are probably scammers, I know that, but it's just funny to me. Yeah, I'm excited with some wins. Oh, I exited with some wins. Okay. On my new account, I posted an article. If you go on X and type Zek top post, tells you everything. All right, well, we will definitely do that. But let's just wrap this up real quick. Sui, $1.81, up 23.8% in the last 7 days. Avalanche, $13.88. Canton Network, 13.5 cents, or high 13 cents, I should say. And then let's go see where that flare is. Down to 106. So maybe a good buy right now. Anything that you missed out on? I want to actually go look at this real quick. Let's go look at guns. There's a couple of things that I wanted to get my hands on, a little bit of it. It had a little bit of a pump. Didn't really pull back too much. I really want to look at like the 7-day. Yeah, we still had a good pump, but it's only like 100%. 33.5 million. That's really not that crazy. I'd still be pretty comfortable buying into that. All right, now let's go take a look at what is trending. The entire electric coin company team, the core developer behind Zcash, has departed after alleging constructive discharge by Bootstrap, the nonprofit that governs the firm. Yep. It's Scoopy. Says, I hear you, though, they will get new devs. Yeah, there's devs for hire all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong, new devs. The world of hiring devs seems so treacherous. I mean, how do you know which ones are scams, not scams? How do you know which ones are telling the truth or not telling? It's just, oh man. it doesn't seem that great. And then, like, I don't know, maybe you have to give them a little bit of ability to get into stuff in order to be a dev, right? And it just seems like, I don't know how all that works, but it seems like a hard way to protect yourself. Get that coffee down so we can get some of this energy flowing. It dipped, didn't rug. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that thing rugging. They are leaving to start their own project, though. I wonder what it'll be. Definitely another privacy coin. Yeah, probably another privacy coin. I would be on the lookout for that one. But also be on the lookout for like 30 coins that come out and say that they're the next coin that they're developing and maybe don't even have anything to do with them. Look for some of those rugs to use their name to make a quick buck, that kind of stuff. Anyways, here's what's trending. Zcash. Now we know why it's trending, but not in a good way, right? We got Pippin, Pudgy Penguins, BitTensor. White Whale is interesting. It's newer on the radar. It's been very up and to the right. The chart actually looks pretty good for White Whale. Not exactly a parabolic curve, but definitely up and to the right. So we'll check on that one. I'm honestly looking for an opportunity in the space I can find. Oh yeah, you can find a whole tech job just sitting in a voice chat. LOL. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I get a bad vibe from a lot of them. Like when I go to check out like a lot of projects in the main hangout or the main area where most of the plebs hang out and talk, as you would, they literally are just like, I'm a dev, I can do things, hire me, I'm a dev. It's just like so many of them. It really is oversaturated at this point. I don't really see anything too crazy going on here. Plume back on the radar, World Liberty Finance. I did want to touch on White Whale, just because it keeps popping up. The chart looks pretty decent. I would definitely be looking more at like your support and resistance on these coins. Smells of dev desperation. Exactly. White Whale brought memes back, they say. And isn't there like a copycat of White Whale already? All right, so 111.1 million in market cap. Let's see, it's a meme, doesn't really have anything else to it. Pump.fund ecosystem, whitewhale.com, we'll go to that. Very, very basic meme stuff. And here's the thing with a lot of this stuff, man, it gets me to the point where like, I don't know if I believe that any of this meme stuff is authentic anymore. Or have I ever felt like it was authentic? You know, there's games being played here for sure. But it's pretty typical website. Tell you the market cap, the price. They got a buy now button. Meme generator. I started seeing this pop up a lot for a lot of memes. It's basically a way for anybody to come in here, kind of make their own version of it, and then you go post it online, and it's like endless free marketing, right? This is a good way to get people to basically post about it. It gives them a reason to post about it. Although I gotta admit, a lot of it looks kind of lame, right? Texture layer, you can pick from a couple of different things. I mean, it looks like it just cycles through some very slightly variated AI stuff. I just don't see that being exciting. I see somebody making this who's really into it, like their profile picture for a day or two, and then that's that. Like, how many of those are you really going to get excited about? All right. Maybe the meme culture I've just grown out of, or it's just not for me anymore. Kind of feel that way a little bit. Some people are just trying something that doesn't go as planned. You know how it goes. But some are just scammers for sure. Yeah, exactly. And I don't hate memes or anything like that. It's just very, very, very little amount of money to do with that kind of stuff. Black Whale was running past couple of days. Yeah, I knew there was another one. Then there could then there'd probably be a killer whale. Yep. I mean, there's already been killer whale coins. I've seen that. Just all attention. Melissa says sexy whale. Yeah, I could see that. People in this space have money to just buy whatever sometimes. You know, the fun stuff. Yeah, and very few of them are coordinated, though. Like, a lot of them don't have any money. A lot of them are, like, a lot of these coins are a very large collection of, you know, one or two big individuals putting a large amount of money in it who are very much, like, involved in all of it. And then you have just mostly a horde of people with $50 to $100. That's my opinion. Blues guy in the house dropping a super chat, hitting our goal for the day. Thank you very much. I thought one super chat during the stream was a pretty reasonable goal. So thank you, Blues guy, for always being here. We love you, Blues guy. Gratitude, love, and blessing to all underground. Kudos, my man. Hey, thank you for being here. We were talking about white whale. Now, here's something I kind of wanted to start doing a little bit more often, but we kind of bounce back between trading view a little bit. Have we bottomed, right? Have we bottomed? So, and I'm going to port us over to where, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So I'm not just talking about something that you literally can't see. And here we are. So you'll see this is what I had drawn for BTC. For like, and look, let's go back through some things here. We had a lot of inverted head and shoulders, right? Like, we had a lot of them kind of play out, start things. You can see them a lot better on the 15. I really should go to like the 15. Let's go back to where I started drawing. Yeah, I was on the 1 hour. They are inverted head and shoulders, but they're very much on the 1 hour. There was a really big one on the 1 hour. Here's another one, and almost every single one of these had played out here. Just kind of showing you how this pattern is like the pattern until everybody believes it and know it's the pattern, and then it's like not the pattern anymore, right? Anyways, you can see there were quite a few of them on the 15-minute. Anyways, yeah, and then as you get closer, I actually think I went back a little bit too far. There's another one. But then you saw we were continuing to make them, and we got high. And they started not really playing out anymore. I mean, I guess that one did pump a little bit. See, did that one actually hit its measured move? Yeah, that one actually did hit its measured move. So I wouldn't even say it didn't play out. Like, when you have a pattern like that and it hits its measured move, like after that, it's pretty much done. Anyways, point being, you're coming up against, for BTC, you're coming up against the 200-day moving average. I'm actually going to delete all drawings on here. And let's go ahead and see what is shaking, what's cooking. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat this very second. There's a reason why I did this now and not in a little bit. One thing I really wanted to point out was I see this over and over, and this is what used to trip me up a lot. Actually, that's why I really want to show it. I was telling Blues guy about it one day, because this is what used to trip me up a lot. Is like, you see, we had like a really good like uptrend. Let me move it a little bit, right? But the moving and the uptrend started. Look when the uptrend started here on the 1 hour. Like, all your moving averages were really close together. This is some life revision stuff right here. And then when they got really far apart here, I started saying, hey guys, looks like there's a good chance that like you're about to roll over and kind of cool off. Like we've had a lot of pump. I mean, let's see how big of a move that was overall for BTC. It was like an 8.2% move, you know, from bottom to top. I mean, you could take it a little bit lower even if you wanted to, but I think that's just, it's getting a little bit too over the top. That'd be like 9.7. Call it at the maximum like 10%. Come on now. Get rid of some stuff. Anyways, I guess my point was you needed to cool off there. Let's pull a fib, actually. That's what this has got me feeling like, and you'll see something pretty beautiful about the Fibonacci's. Let's make sure we got it all the way from the impulse here. I like to pull from really where that impulse started, which would be right about there. And I mean, look how close you are. So close to that 786. 786 is the purple line. So, I don't know. I'm feeling like you touch liquidity. Now, what I see a lot, though, is I see it come back down and scoop a little bit deeper before we get out of it. I see that a lot. It kind of like one of the ways that I look at how bullish we are or how bullish we're not is like if we just scoop here and we don't even revisit this 706, you know, between the 706 and the 618, like if we scooped it here and like we don't revisit it, I would think we were more bullish overall on like, you know, say the daily time frame, stuff like that. If we do come back, I wouldn't even say it's a really bad thing. I'd just say like you're not crazy bullish, right? You're not euphoric at any point, right? And that's just kind of my opinion here. But that's actually not why I came over here at all. So forgive me that I spent so much time with that. This is Shiba. Let's go. I want to see the white whale. Where is the best place to look at this? Probably the perpetuals on MEXC. Be one of my favorite places to look at it. They say that they've had this thing since the 6th of January. Is this real? I guess this is perpetuals, right? This is not spot. So we should probably go look. How do I remove this? All right, they don't want to let me remove it. I want to find one that's like spot or something like that. What do we got going on in the chat? Yeah, we still never did Memecoin IP topics. Okay. Says success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. Jim Rohn. Absolutely it is. Was deep diving on Upshift today. Flare and Monad. Oh la la la. Sending over right now underground. It's ready. Let's go. Yeah, I think I've seen Upshift. Thing I can't remember when. Okay. So I want to find like a spot where maybe this is going to have. Here we go. Spot. That's what I want. Still want MEXC. Okay. It was about the same. I was hoping to get a little more information. Let's drop this thing into like say the hour. I mean, it actually looks pretty decent. You got inverted head and shoulder there. Let's drop down to like the 15. You're above the 200 that just started printing, really. You had, and notice that like we're getting a lot of the same thing. Let's see, did we hit our measured move there? I would say so. I would say you hit that measured move. So that played out. Now you're kind of like looking for the next thing, right? And notice that there's lots of different little plays inside a lot of this stuff. Like first you had like this falling wedge-ish, maybe you could say falling flag type of move. pull your measured move, and you would have got it. You got it actually really quickly. That would have been a really quick win right there. So as it progressed, my point is, like, before it can be, here's my point. Before it can be a inverted head and shoulder, you know, you have like this falling wedge that broke out, and you had like same thing, another falling wedge. It broke to the upside. I would say it probably didn't really come to its measured move. And then here, let me actually back up so I can get rid of some of this gibberish. But here you would have had a measured move again. This is why it gets so confusing trading, is because, like, which one do you do? Do you wait for these bigger? Do you try to scalp every little thing? I don't really know if it matters which one you do to be successful. I just think you need to have a plan for what you're doing. You need to know when you enter a trade if you're scalping or if you're taking, you know, a giant inverted head and shoulder on the 15-minute. That would have hit. So a lot of these actually would have hit. But moving forward for white whale, and we're doing this because they're trending and because they're hot. Let's drop down to the 5-minute head and shoulder just dumped on you. And let's take a look. Bang, like clockwork. Look at that measured move, man. The lifer he's so on the stuff, man. It's crazy. Like, you could have said you were flagging out. And for sure you were. But you can't get so, like, and this is just my opinion, because I used to do this. I used to be like, that's a flag with a measured move, and I just did that really quickly. So it's not exactly, I'm like, it's gotta go. But then, like, totally be too narrow-sighted to notice this inverted head and shoulder. You gotta kind of see everything at all times. The fact of my own ignorance, right? And there's always multiple things to point out on these coins. Now, I don't play these coins a lot, so, like, I have no idea how much faith I have in, like, certain TA. That for BTC, like, if there was an Adam and Eve double bottom, Lifer always says that's like a 90% to the upside, or vice versa if it's flipped upside down. So you come to really rely on those. But if I saw that on the white whale, you know, for on the 5-minute, like, would I be confident about that? I'd have to just have some experience. Bankroll, can you tell me what kind of divergence that is? Is that bullish or bearish divergence, bankroll, for the 5-minute for white whale? And you got the pullback. I mean, was eating food before the stream, so yeah, something stuck in my throat. Don't be surprised if today's stream is a little out of our normal order. And don't be surprised if it's a long stream too, because although my voice is terrible, I actually feel really good. Who enjoyed yesterday's stream? Put a 111 in the chat if you thought yesterday's stream was a good stream. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed yesterday. I don't know what it really was about it. I enjoyed the IQ raise and event. I enjoyed the topic. I enjoyed a lot of things. Some honey tea. All right, I'll stop messing around. Sorry, guys. I got a 111. I got no answer from Bankroll. I guess Bankroll isn't here no more. Anyways, this would be bullish divergence because obviously it is on the bottom, where if it was on the top like this for a 5-minute would have really signaled to you bearish divergence. I mean, for Camsta, I know I've said this. Camsta, everybody, I'm pretty sure Blues guy, he's locked in probably with the whole divergences. But man, divergences really important. And don't ever try to pull your divergences from like the stochastic RSI. Should always be the regular RSI. Cool. Glad to hear everybody liked it. We did some TA for White Whale. I would have to say In the more short intermediary term, I would have to say that white whale probably going to get a little bit of a bump. At the same time, on the 1 hour, so that was the 5 minute that we were kind of saying, hey, it looks like it might get a little bit of bump. It looks like the 1 hour needs to come back to maybe 10 cents. Could see you touching 10 cents again. You see it pumping, says Blues Guy. Like in the 5 minute chart. Sorry, I just switched you guys over. But you know what? And man, I could sit here and talk forever just about this. It's hard not to make the whole stream this. I just switched you over and now I'm like, let me switch you back. All right, so let me just say this in conclusion about white whale here. So you have some bullish divergence, right? But like, there's a chance that like that right there, those bars could be, you know, a bit of your bullish divergence. And as I say that, you're starting to get a little bit of a lift off. Thing is, I don't think the move here is going to be monumental, because let's drop into like the 15, right? Once you drop into the 15, these are actually going more closer. They're like, you know, they're still somewhat divergent, but like they're a lot closer. They're like in the same angle, right? But if you look at the 1 hour, in the 1 hour, there's like very clearly bearish divergence on the 1 hour, right? You pull from the top, and you use the candles, not the wicks, right? So you can see this yellow line here, mostly flat. That one's at an angle. If you were to keep drawing them out somewhere around here, they would cross each other. So overall, actually, I think the white whale will probably see it negative tomorrow, honestly. That's what I'm thinking. Melissa says, welcome back. That one guy was on the phone. No worries, man. No sweat. I was just, you know, doing the show and figured I'd ask you a question. All right, now let's bounce back to where we should be. So that's the white whale. That's all I really saw as far as CoinGecko things to look at. Let's look at the fear and greed index. Yesterday was 28. Today was 27. So not anything crazy here. The last 7-day average 28. A month ago average 26. Like, we had a little spike right here. And for right now, that's it. We're gonna see. I want to see BTC hold, you know, that 1 hour, because BTC right now is flagging above the 1 hour, but the 21 has not come up to meet price action yet. And I talked about how we, on the 1 hour, we went down to the 786, which is usually a pretty good place to buy. All right, now let's move to what is trending over on Crypto Rank. We got Pod again. It's just hanging out there. We've talked about Pod a lot of times. Athena, Caspa, Chronos, Chainlink, Avalanche, Maddle, Cosmos, VeChain, Ondo, Morpho, Say, Curve, First Digital, Bitcoin Cash, Wrap, Litecoin, Injective. All of those names, I would, except for maybe Pod, I would imagine you probably know them. Then you got Brevis. Brevis is maybe one to look at here. BREV. Let's look at its chart on like more like the hour. I mean, you would have thought, I mean, that was looking pretty tight. Not everything plays out, especially on these tiny coins, man. You would have thought that was going to take you somewhere. Like, you know, I would have expected this to even give you like a little pump, right? Nothing. So, is it, and it looks very much like it's rolling over, right? Look at that. if rounded bottoms pay the bills, it's a saying I hear the lifers say a lot, then what do rounded tops do? Well, if you're shorting, they also pay the bills. If you're just like holding spot or trying to long it, then they definitely don't pay your bills. That honey tea is crucial with matcha. All right, 94.4 million in market cap. And we know what this thing is, right? Anybody off the top of their head know what Brevis is? I've covered this thing so many times. The infinite compute layer for Web3 and everything ZK power, real adoption. So this is something that, like, if we start pumping again for BTC, I could definitely see it moving. And it reminds me a lot of like ICP, but just like very centered around zero knowledge technology, which is cool. 117,000 on the pin post from January 6th, which was literally 2 days ago. Man, I had a new call. I'm for real back now. Hey, you're good, man. I know you're a busy guy. No sweat. I appreciate you coming to the stream. Again, super random. To everybody who comes to the stream day after day, this whole show would be nothing without you guys. Like, I know it sounds redundant to say, but as somebody who's on the other side of this doing the show, like, you guys have no idea how much I appreciate you guys. So phone call or no phone call bankroll, I appreciate you being here. No worries. Anyways, this thing has a ton of attention. That's what I have to say here. I mean, on the daily, maybe it's a little bit less. This got 201,000 impressions from January 7th. Like, they get some attention, especially in a time where, like, you saw the fear and greed index. The fear and greed index also is very much like attention, right? And so, or sentiment is a better way to put it. And so if we were just up at 44, people were starting to rally and get excited. I noticed a big difference in the amount of people who come to my stream, like over the whole life of the stream, you know, the 2-3 hours that we're live. And then I noticed a huge difference when it pulls back. It's just how crypto goes. You know, just part of the game. So Brevis could put out a post during that time where we were up at like 44, and they're going to get a lot more excitement and impressions than they would if they put something out right now. And that's just kind of what it is. Everything rides on BTC in this atmosphere. It's the one thing that, like, people keep wanting to believe that there's like a decoupling or something like that. And I very much do agree. At some point in the history of crypto, there will be a decoupling, an environment where things run on their own. I believe that it will happen, but is that 20, 50, 3 years? Nobody knows. And I would just bet that it's not going to, from what I've watched from my time in crypto, it seems like a better bet to believe things will be the way they've always been until they're not, and then change. But don't just change ahead of time because people saying it's different this time. Very rarely is it actually different. So I have a project for us to deep dive. Okay, that one guy, lay it on me. Oh, he did. LYN. Okay. My son said yes for streaming the game. Just tell when. Okay, thank you. Gotta figure out how exactly I'm gonna do that. He has to stream all your games for your channel if once. Okay. Got to figure out how to bring him on at the same time. I did figure some crucial things out yesterday from what we were working on, Blue Sky, when we were trying to record together. I actually figured out how to get the audio to work right. So does that mean when we go to do it again, it'll work right? Not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. Anyways, let's go look at Brevis on a chart, because I know a lot of people are probably wondering, like, you know, is there anything to trade right now? In retrospective, I probably should have been looking at this stuff when we were a little bit more bullish. Yeah, Mexi. It's kind of my place to go here. And I like to look at spot because a lot of times it has a little bit more information. It pretty much looks exactly like the chart we were just looking at. In these small charts, I mean, the most basic thing that I see to do is this. And like, you guys, hopefully as we're doing this, hopefully you watch the Crypto Life or stuff like that and notice that, like, you kind of can't make this stuff up. Like, it very much is. Not a coincidence that these things do the same things over and over. Sorry, I brought up my settings. I wanted to make the 786 a little bit more easy to see. Okay, apparently they don't have that option. I wanted to make it thicker. But anyways, I mean, look at this thing. Close to 786, not quite. Hits the 786. Hit and even just barely went through the 786. That's 3 hits. The problem with this, if you look at like the moneymaker model, is that none of these upper wicks, and I know this gets cluttered really fast, none of these upper wicks really broke much price action, right? If anything, it looks like, to me, there's resistance there. If you hit this, bing, and where do you kind of see that resistance again? Kind of see it over here on this side. Just 1 point of resistance, really. But you see now it's kind of forming that resistance, and it, you know, think about knocking on the door. Like, you're trying to see if somebody's home. Like, you're knocking on somebody's door and you're hoping that they're going to let you in. And it's like, you knocked once, they didn't answer the door, they didn't let you in. You knocked again, they didn't answer, they didn't let you in. You knock again and they didn't answer and let you in. You're like, all right, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go the opposite way now. I don't know. That's how I think about it sometime. And then very much you're like in a range now. Now, when I used to watch AJ Wright's Crypto, somebody actually who I used to follow quite a bit for quite some time, this is how he trades. This is if this was a, you know, you kind of pick up on different styles with different people. This is the way that like AJ Wright Crypto, as far as I understand him, likes to make his trades. Is he would set like a range bound thing. So pull this a little outside of your range and then set an alert on both of these, right? And when it breaks, you know, when it breaks one of them, just look for a retest or something and then trade it to that side. That's a strategy. I don't know if you've thought about that. Anyways, I don't know about this coin. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be all that confident one way or another. But if I had to choose, I would say it probably dips a little bit lower before going higher. But it's all going to be dependent on BTC. If BTC for a while does nothing, I mean, this thing could go sideways for weeks with very small, you know, pumps and dumps. Anyways, let's get ourselves back to the crypto rank. So we are growing. Love it, bro. Absolutely. Thanks for saying that. I do have a lot going on right now. Musa. Okay. Well, handle your biz, man. I know you will. Trading ETH on 40x. 3096 entry. That's real. Wrong screen. Starting over, bro. Start over, bro. You were already on rank. Dang, nobody told me I was on the wrong screen. I mean, obviously you did, Blues guy. Are you sure? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's so weird because in my back end, I literally went and changed it. And it was changed, and then I had to change it back in order to come. That's so weird. But yeah, when I look at my screen next to me, you're right. All right, well, I'm just gonna do the quick simplified version. Basically, this thing's falling. You can pull your Fibonacci's, and you will see that the 786 is where you're bouncing. You know, you've hit the 786. Probably, in all honesty, I'd look for a little more of a dip, at least, at minimum. But, like, it seems like you're pretty range bound for this from, you know, in here. That seems like where you are. And I was saying you could kind of set a alert. If you left click, add alert, on either side of the range, and then just wait for it to break out one way or another. If you see it break above, you know, this top line, probably going more to the upside. But anything can happen with these really small coins. That was basically all I was saying. And that I personally probably wouldn't touch it, but that's just me. All right. Brevis, Lighter. Lighter's another one that's probably worth looking at. And this is a good thing to do on a day like today when there's not a lot of new coins here. Let's see. Do we have any? Deep Node. Deep Node is the only like new coin that I don't know anything about here. And a lot of these coins, Zama, Ranger, Architect, Cascade, like they don't even have tokens yet, right? Deep Node as well. Infinex, like we've been over a lot of these the last couple of days, but they don't even have coins, right? We're way ahead of schedule. As usual on this channel, we're a little bit way ahead of schedule. Right, showing the chart, but it was rank. Okay. Yep, he's right. Long on Zebekin. That's hilarious. Called it Zebekin. In Flare, in Sweet, in Doge, in BTC. Let's go, my man. I make two ranges, one for short, one for long, and wait until it opens trade. It works most of the time. There you go. A million strategy. That's the problem with trading is like everybody wants like this one strategy that hits over and over. And like over time, you'll pick your like best strategy, you know. But at the same time, like there's a lot of different strategies that would hypothetically work. It's more about the consistency than anything. That's what I've found. And also been my biggest point of failure because I get in there and I start just doing things that don't make any sense, that are not my plan, right? All right. So I wanted to go look at Lighter on TradingView, and I will make sure that I actually port you guys over. All right, everybody is. Oh, maybe I didn't hit OK last time. Maybe that's why it didn't show. So let's come up here. Let's go to Lighter or Lit. Let's find our Mexi. And let's go. Bang. I love how Lifer always does like top down. So I'm going to start with like at least a 4 hour. I don't know if that's really the best place to take it from. Usually try to get the most hits that you can get on the line. Is that like a 50-50 pattern? I don't know if it, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty close. My bet, honestly, is that this isn't done and that you're going to see more of a, you know, before it goes one way or the other. And again, like very much feel like BTC is going to determine what's going to happen here. Does seem like that's kind of like a big support and resistant line here at like $2 and say $2.80. 200 MA and 21 best. Yeah, absolutely. I used to trade with luck, 50-50 chance both way. Don't want to chase right now with deep, but it keeps going. Breaks my heart. Hold me back. Yeah, I feel you. Keeps going down, I assume is what you're saying. Or wait, did deep pump today? Anyways, this kind of looks to me like you're going to get a head and shoulder pattern. Kind of wait for the head of the head and shoulders to fill out, right? Before we know anything. If this does go bullish, though, it has a pretty nice measured move. $3.76. I think this area down here under that support and resistance, probably a good place for a stop loss. A lot of times, if I was in the situation with a pattern like this, I would want to, you know, wait for some of this drawdown to kind of finish out. You are bottoming out on your stochastic RSI. I don't know why I can't talk. Stochastic RSI on the 1 hour, which is a bigger time frame for sure. What's the 4 hour at? Yeah, kind of started to move and then it rolled over. Kind of signaling that you're going to continue to make that head for the head and shoulders. And for the 15-minute, you fell below the 200, which means you're probably going to continue to have a little bit of a tumble. Just really wanted to look at lighter because there's a lot of attention around it. And so it's a chance maybe you get something going. Here's your impulse here. Here's your Fibonacci. And you really only made it to the 706 so far. So was that pretty much the buy zone? Or was, you know, you're going to play around and then dip a little bit lower? I don't know. Pure speculation, right? That's kind of a wait and see. So I guess we just kind of leave that up. And check in with it again tomorrow. Let me change it over in the back here. All right, so there was like one new coin worth looking at. Keep it going. It's pamping. I'm up $7 on spot. On spot with Deep. Actually, really want to look at Deep Book. I was not thinking it's going to turn into a TA day, but let's look at this Deep node because I've never seen it before. Let's take a look at it. Now it's Flair's turn. Zebekin, Pampin, right? I mean, boy, could sit here and go over a lot of different stuff. Deep node is a decentralized AI network designed as an infrastructure for open intelligence. Let's go look how much attention they have. More AI, right? Isn't it DeepSeek that is like the big Chinese AI? The foundation for open, honest AI. We broke the black box so everyone can see the light. It's kind of creepy. Where did they find this black box? They're followed by LootGo. Shout out to Melissa for telling us about LootGo. 186.9 thousand followers. Melissa, are you still using LootGo? I open it every once in a while. So mark it on your calendars. Announce it to all. CT stream. Oh, scream it. Yeah. To all CT. Scream it out your window. The day DN comes to light. It's almost here. Be ready for token generation. 616,000 impressions from January 5th. That's pretty good. That was like, what, 3 days ago? 8 hours ago, 100,000 impressions. 10 hours ago, almost 100. All right, that's Binance, though. Another one, our token starts trading at gate.io. Got 91,000. So they're getting some attention. Very good relevance to the amount of followers they have. So the attention check is pretty good, actually, for this coin. And it's deepen as a category. The infrastructure for open intelligence. Deep node is the foundation for open, honest AI. Every contribution is verified and rewarded and owned by its creator. Launch the DApp. Oh, coming soon. So there's no DApp yet. 1,500 plus builders are ready to start shaping the new intelligence economy. What does it say? 10x fairer throughput through power. 200% more sustainable via dynamic trust weights. 100x faster using routing and smart caching. 98% task success rate via one model, 2 model node mechanism. 5+ reward streams at launch. Model creation, mining, validating, staking, and bonding. We broke the black box so everybody could see the light. launch the app, still coming soon. So they still don't have an app yet. That always worries me a little bit, right? Because once they have no product, it's like, what are you investing in at that point or speculating on, right? Like you're like really just speculating on the hope that they're going to do something. What do they have for founders here who you could look at? I mean, I don't see any information about founders here. And I didn't see anything on their website about founders. Maybe we'll double check that real quick. Learn more, token, launch, join, dive. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Yeah, nothing about who's behind the project. That's kind of sketchy too. I mean, at least give us like fake names and cartoon pictures. I don't know. At least have like an internet persona who we can kind of hold you to a little bit. Let's go check out those top gainers, top losers of the day. And for anybody who didn't know, our topic is why stablecoins exist. So even on a day like today, where I'm a little bit under the weather, we're still going to do our IQ raising event of the day. We're going to continue the series that we've been doing. We started talking Monday. What Monday was about, and I got to keep all this straight in my head, right? Monday was about why narratives don't die, like why certain narratives come back time after time after time. Then we talked about that is because certain narratives have huge problems and they've never been solved. And actually here's the thing, on the surface value of this series that we're doing, it seems a little overly basic, but it really actually kind of connected something in my mind and made me really see something a little bit more clearer. Stuff I already knew, but it was much more clear that if you really want to bank on good speculations, right, make some money, in my opinion, lean towards things that actually solve like a problem and not just promise some solve of a problem or just launch themselves out here and say, oh, look at me, I'm so shiny. That shiny, it's the Solana shiny syndrome or whatever, meme coin. I mean, they had a really good point. That's why it was so funny. They didn't really solve any problem though, so they don't really fit in here. So then the next day, Tuesday, we talked about why XRP even exists and why it's able to stick around, bear market after bear market, because the problem that they're solving still exists and it is a huge problem. And then after that, we talked about RWAs. What problem were RWAs solving? Anybody can throw that in the chat and tell me they've been paying attention. Okay, and then so today, Thursday, we're talking about why stablecoins exist. And it's so funny because, like I said, there's such surface value topics or what seem very simple to understand. And I keep getting a lot out of each one of them. So I hope you are too. So the problem crypto couldn't solve without stablecoins. Early crypto had volatility as its default state. So its default state was, sorry, I just thought of like 6 things at one time, was volatility. So think about this. Most of the time when you go to trade, you're trading a pair, right? I mean, this is probably stuff we do and we take for granted. We don't really even think about. And the pair is like, say, like BTC USDT. You know, you're trading Bitcoin and USDT. And those are the 2 assets that you're moving in and out of, right? You take profits in USDT. Well, before USDT existed, how do you think that they had pairs? How do you think they traded? I mean, obviously, you can buy anything spot and hold it. You don't need a pair, right? But I'm just talking about like with leverage, perpetuals, anything like that. You know, it was like BTC ETH. Wasn't a lot of things out at that time. So what, BTC Dogecoin? I don't know what all they were using. I would say most of them were probably BTC ETH. Anyways, that really reminded me of somebody who was coming to the channel a lot, and I haven't seen him at all lately. Maybe you know who that is. And no shade to them, we all get busy. So let's get back to the stablecoins, right? Let me not get distracted. But volatility made payments impractical, accounting very difficult, and user experience confusing. Stablecoins emerged to introduce price stability into an unstable system. You know, this also really reminds me This really reminds me of what Blues Guy said earlier. It was a quote from Jim Rohn, right? That success is actually the basics applied consistently day after day. I'm paraphrasing, but you know, that's the basis of the quote, is that it's not all this extravagant fancy knowledge that you would think would be the secret that lies somewhere. It's where everybody, and this is something I've been guilty of in my life many times, is believing that there was going to be like a guru or somebody who was just going to show me like this secret, and then I could just like find it and do it over and over again, and that was going to be why I was successful. Well, Jim Rohn very much speaks to the opposite of that, and I would say that the lifer very much, you know, proves that on a daily basis, that it's not this fancy secret that's going to take you to new heights of success in anything. It's understanding the basics better, deeper, you know, more intricately, the basics, and then apply those. And that is why I actually thought this series was the best series choice for our first series that we're doing. What is Camsta saying now? The bot? No, Camsta. Actually, that wasn't who I was referring to at all. Just got in a deep long, couldn't take it anymore. Wish me luck. All right, I wish you luck. Good job. I hope you get all the monies. All right, what a stable coin actually is. A stable coin is a digital token, obviously designed to maintain a stable value, typically pegged to fiat currency. They function as on-chain cash, settlement units, accounting standards. Why stability matters more than people realize. Without stablecoins, DeFi breaks, literally. Exchanges lose liquidity. Users face friction. Institutions hesitate. Stablecoins reduce cognitive and financial overhead. Why stablecoins scaled faster than any other crypto product? Because the use case was huge. Stablecoins succeeded because they solved an immediate pain point. Talk about businesses and creating businesses and stuff. Pain points. It's just another word for like a problem. They didn't require ideological belief. I don't know why I can't talk with this sore throat. They fit existing mental models. People understood a digital dollar instantly because it was just a replica of the dollar that they already used on a regular basis. So this wasn't a hard concept, right? Like they would have came out with like random stable coins that instead of using like 100 cents a dollar, you know, they use like 125 cents. You would have confused everybody. But because that was already matching the form of currency and numbers we already do, there you go. Says wrong time, bro. It's far away from the 21 will drop. Yeah, most likely. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun, actually. Let's go look at Deep Book because Camsta is in the middle of it, and he'll probably find that pretty interesting. And I want to break up the deep dive a little bit. I hope that you guys really are understanding about the whole, why these things are so important. And then, of course, I haven't forgot about you, Bankroll. You had a project you wanted me to deep dive. We're going to do that as well. I only temporarily slipped my mind, but I didn't forget completely, right? Until the stream's over. Then you could say I completely forgot. Let's look at Deep. I also own some Deep, right? So I am looking at it for Camsta and his trade, but I'm also looking at it for me as well. All right, this is the one I already have bookmarked. And I took it away, bring it back. Cool. Wow, look at that Deep Book. I don't even know when I bought this. Probably a lot higher, honestly. I don't know. I wish I knew when I bought this thing. Maybe like up here. Yeah. Man, when was this? That was October 2025. Yeah, that was probably when I stopped looking at the chart on Deep Book altogether. Because it just became pointless and obvious that BTC was just going to drain us to oblivion. So first thing right off the bat on the bigger time frames, which I'm sure is not really what Camsta is looking at here, unless he did say he owned some via spot. Immediately lost $10. Yeah, exactly. Camsta, what time frame were you looking at when you decided to get into that trade? You know, let's get to the bottom of it, right? And on the 4 hour here, let's actually pop it down to the hour. Okay, yep. So on the 4 hour, you see that you had this kind of falling price action here. Like a Livermore cylinder kind of thing. And you could kind of tighten it up if you wanted, for sure. It's more like a falling wedge. Had one heck of a measured move, though. Look at the measured move on that thing. Bang, for the 4 hour. This would say that you still had quite a bit more to go to almost 6 cents. All right. The 1 minute. All right, let's go take a look at the 1 minute then. Yeah. So, I mean, first things first. What day is today? This is a big part of trading. This is how I used to run my accounts to oblivion, because I wouldn't accept the truth about the days, the liquidity. I just wouldn't accept it. I would overtrade my accounts into oblivion. That's one of my biggest downfalls, is I love charting and stuff so much that I just, like, once I was trading, had a couple decent days, making $5-10 here, like, per trade, and then hit a couple big ones that maybe were more like 50. I'm trading, you know, we're talking about trading with like $100, right? And then, like, maybe I had a couple that were like, you know, 15, 30, you know, maybe one big win of like $60, and I'm like, oh, I got a little bit of house money, and I would just then overtrade the heck out of it. So, like, I'd be in here like trying to catch a bottom on this thing, you know. I'm like, oh, this follow wedge. But you got to remember that, like, you're dealing with the 1 minute on a Thursday night. Liquidity left the market around, like, at the latest noon, and it's 9:45 p.m. at night. Top blaster strikes again, yo. That cracks me up every time. Especially at support, not at the top where resistance is. Top blaster strikes again. I just kept saying it's on, go, back down over and over, and I was wrong 100 times in a row. Finally, I give it the exact moment when it takes dive. Yeah. Highly would. Here's another thing. If you're gonna trade on a Thursday night, I don't recommend being in the 1 minute. I don't recommend that at all. And also, like, divergences aren't worth very much. To me, like, when you look at divergences and stuff, because I see a very clear divergence here, but, like, that could be, that divergent move that you're pulling here could literally be, like, the tiniest move, because it's the 1 minute. Like, it doesn't take much to play out that like, it could literally be just like this. Whoops, I kind of circled more than I meant to circle. It could literally be like just these couple of candles, right? And that could be your divergence, and then it just does something else, right? You want to look at divergence on different time frames. I mean, clear, very, very, very clear signs here. Oh, here's another thing, Camps, I used to do. I used to look at the 1 minute and then make trades off the 1 minute and never go look at the 5:15 in the hour, right? Because you are very obviously just come off of a pump, which has got your 21 way too far away. So your likeliness of continuing, if you were going to continue to pump in an environment like this where you're really far away from the 21, it'd be like Tuesday at like 11:30 a.m. or like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, you know, on a Monday night, something like, with liquidity and bullishness. If you're talking about consistency, like, this thing is going to come back to the 5 minute. You know, the 1 minute is very much most likely going to come down to the 200. Your moving averages are pretty far away. You're far away from the 21 on the hour, or the 15. You're far away from the 21. And look, doesn't this look a lot like what we were talking about with BTC before it kind of returned to normal? high, a lot of room above the 200. The 21 is nicer and close, but for the 15, it's still decently far apart. Look, right here, you were far apart. You had a little pullback. Here, you were far apart. You had a pullback. Here, you were far apart. You had a pullback, went sideways till you got close to it. Here, you were far apart. You went sideways. You did get a little bit more pump, but let's see. When was that? It's in the 15, so that was earlier today. Much earlier today, right? So I hope Camp C kind of get my point here. Let's go to the 1 hour. And then, of course, like, that looks like your big wick, your blow off wick right there. I don't know. To me, that sounds like it's over. There's a lot of room. A lot of room between you and the 200 and you and the 21. So, like, I don't know. If this was me, I would probably chill on trying to find a trade for deep book unless you wanted to short it. Because, like, if you're almost like overly trying to trade, and again, remember, low liquidity, they'll chop you up. They'll chop you into little pieces. But if you were gonna try to take a chance at making some money, for me, it would be like, wait until you lose the 200. And then wait for you to like lose the 200 and flag out with a continuation pattern or something on, say, the 3 or the 5 minute. Like, lose the 200 on the 1 and then go look for like maybe a continuation pattern on like the 3 or something like that, or maybe, you know, some very bearish divergence. Anyways, that was a lot of fun for me. I haven't looked at deep book in a while. It's fun doing a lot of TA. Today I wasn't planning on doing it, but I haven't really done a ton of TA lately, so it's really nice to do that. All right, now let's come back to our IQ raising moment. I kind of wanted to break it up a little bit. Says, yeah, I just let you do you. Finally, I give it the exact. He said, yeah, I just let you do you, says Bankroll. Great advice, Underground. Great advice for the open ears. Look at Flare. You are good at it. Okay, I'll look at Flare. Let me finish the part 1. We probably have like 2 more of these, right? And again, like, I know I keep saying the same thing, but although this stuff is simple, you might want to pay attention because it's actually doing a lot for me. And, you know, I've been doing this kind of research for a really long time, a lot longer than I've been doing the show. So if I'm getting something out of it, you know, maybe you just got to get to a deeper level before the basics. I'll say one thing. It reminds me of a lot of my life of doing martial arts. For those who don't know, I've done martial arts for probably 20 years or more. And for the last, you know, good bit of time, 5-6 years was like traditional Chinese Kung Fu. Very hard, you know, village style Kung Fu, like the real stuff, not something you see in a school. You know, it was invite only, very small club. You couldn't buy your way in if you wanted to. Anyways, the point is, you would learn the basics as a beginner, and then you would get up higher, you know, in the, we didn't have belts and stuff like that. That's for schools. That's a money-making thing. That's not real Kung Fu. But anyways, my point is you do learn more forms, and you do, you know, become a 2nd year or 3rd year or 4th year, that kind of thing. And at some point in that, about 3rd year or so, all of a sudden it just hits you that all of the basics and how they all work and how it all works together. That's kind of the same thing that's happening to me here going over this stuff. Is like somehow going over this series that we've done has just sharpened me to see something much clearer in places where I would usually be a little bit more indecision about what to invest in, what to speculate on, what direction to go with my money. And it makes me understand a lot more the moves that I see the crypto lifer do, because he's been through this. He's been in the market for 20 years, you know, markets for 20 years. I don't know the exact number he's been in crypto, but it's definitely quite some time. So stablecoins as the entry point. For many users, stablecoins are the first crypto they hold. Very true. The units they measure value in. Yep, the asset they return to. They normalize blockchain usage. You know who this would have been? Bankroll. Where's Bankroll at? This would have been a great stream for TM Hustling to be here, because he doesn't want nothing to do with no stablecoins. And I don't think he understands, like, you know, the unit most of them are measured in, the way most people assess their returns, and how big stablecoins really are. Why stablecoins aren't just for trading. Stablecoins power remittance, payroll, DeFi lending, and on-chain commerce. They quietly enable everyday utility. And that was the part 2. Now we're going to go look at Flare for Blues Guy, because that is what he asked for. And that was the back dashboard of YouTube. If you caught it, you caught it. Can't wait till we hit 1,300 subs. That's going to be nice. Let's see. All I see is him say I'm an animal. What's up, Gamsta? He says, thanks a lot, Underground. You are right. My emotions took over there. I'm an animal. Hey, been there, bro. I've ruined so many portfolios. I've started over with $100 so many times, and Gamsta, it's to the point where, like, I'm doing what I know not to do, and while I'm loading the trade and putting the parameters, I know I'm on the 1 minute gambling. Like, I know I'm doing, and I still do it. Still can't, like, almost can't help myself. It took a long time, actually, for me to be able to be a little bit more reserved. Now, one thing that helps is talking to you guys and being in front of you guys, because it actually gives you something to hold yourself accountable for. So it's going to be a lot of fun trading. I almost got, you know, I almost loaded a little bit of money in and started trading again, and I was glad I held off, because I had a feeling that BTC wasn't done with the pullback. And this would have been like 2 days ago, right, when we had like a nice pullback, and then we had a pump out of it, and it looked like, oh, okay, maybe we're gonna pump out of it. And I was like, the timing is all wrong, in my opinion. Like, it's like, it was, you know, it was like going into the weekend. I was like, I don't see it. We at least got to get through the weekend. And then we rolled into Monday, and yeah, it's all history from there. He says, what kind? One must ask. He's a camel, half Egyptian. Watch out, they spit and are also stubborn. Why not both? Underground, getting the itch. Yeah, that, and like, I love trading, and I just think that maybe we might have a good year. That's what I'm hoping. But I'm going to start small and do my best. And I make mistakes too. Do my best to stay dialed in, and being in front of you guys, that helps a lot, right? So if I do that, you will see me post a lot more about trading in the group. I thought I was bad help at first, but you're just doing your own thing. I've been teaching the new German guy. He's been patient getting it down. Cool. I think I know who that is in the chat. Anyways, Blues Guy really wanted me to look at Flare, so I will do that for Blues Guy. Whatever Blues Guy wants, because he is always here. Oh, well, FLR. Blues Guy has a lot of MVP points with me. Let's see. Let's go get the perpetual for Flare. Or would you prefer I look at the spot? You could tell me if you'd rather I look at the spot. But if you're trading it, you're probably on the perpetual. Let's get the heck out of the 1 minute. Let's start with the daily, where I am way too zoomed in at that point. I do love to pull support and resistance lines. It's pretty much where you're at there on the daily. I've learned not to go click all the support and resistance lines that I can find, because, you know, then we're going to dial in, and it's like, I don't really even need this one way up here, because when I dial in from the daily to the 4 hour, like, that's going to become completely irrelevant to me. And you can see how we kind of entered into this range, and then we fell into it, bounced exactly off of it. Now you're way down here at the bottom, broke under it, back into it, tested it. At this point, I would very much kind of, how do you put it? Live and die a little bit, I guess is a good way to put it, by the 200s and stuff. That's where I'd find my strength and clarity here. And there's different ways you can say. If you can say first off, like, what do I like? I like that the moving averages are really close together. I like that the 21 just crossed through a bunch of those moving averages. And then if you look here, the 21 did just cross the 200. And even the 21 is above the 200 on a large time frame. Okay. Well, I like that it's the same thing as saying, like, you know, the bullish scenario, bearish scenario. You got like a falling wedge, falling flag. I do need to like clarify what the heck I should be calling it. And although this looks pretty good, again, you have to remember, this is the hardest part. This is one thing that always trips me up and is a big reason why a lot of times I just play BTC, is because in all honesty, like, if you're trading Flare on the 4 hour, like, not only do you need to look at Flare and watch your trade on Flare, but you got to watch BTC. And sometimes, I don't know, you got to know when to pull out of a trade on an altcoin based off of what BTC's doing. Like, you see BTC lose the 15-minute, you know, and it's losing the 15-minute, making continuation bear patterns and stuff, then like Flare is not going to get back above the 4 hour. Like, it's very unlikely. It needs a bullish thing. And for anybody who doesn't know, this blue line here is as the smooth moving average. I always have that in there as well. It's a 200, but it's a smooth 200 and not an exact 200, right? Anyways, looks like it does on the 4 hour have a measured move to like 0.014. Drop it to the hour. You are just absolutely toying on the 1 hour with the 200, but you are losing it. I mean, if you want to be like overly bullish, maybe you're getting a very slanted inverted head and shoulder. Let's go to the 15. Yeah, you're under on the 15. So for me, if I was like, I really love Flare, like Blues Guy does, and I want to trade Flare. Like, that's just what I want to trade. That's just what I want to do. I mean, it's pretty simple. To the 1 minute. You come to the 1 minute, and you pretty much, this is how quick and easy a lot of times I do this, is I just throw a line, and then I put an alert on the line where the 200 is, and I pretty much walk away and forget about it. Now, I put it exactly on the 200, right? Well, I know that it's, if the price continues to go sideways and drop, the 200 is going to come down. It's going to come down a little bit, so I put it down a little bit, and then like whenever I hear the alert, I'll look at it, and if I don't hear the alert, I will come, you know, say in like couple hours it trends down more, I'll just come move it down to my 200. I'll basically just keep an alert hovering at the 200 on the 1 minute. But when that breaks, this is where I used to mess myself up, like my first year of trading, is like price action would pop, right? And it would hit that alert, and I'd be like, all right, go time, get in. No, you're still on the 1 minute. It's still Thursday at 10 p.m. Like, it's still, man, yeah. I've made a lot of mistakes. I love when the lifer says that an expert, not that I am a TA expert by any stretch of the imagination, but an expert is somebody who has made a lot of mistakes in a very narrow field, right? So there's that. So basically, and so what would I do? I mean, we say this so much, it's repetitive, but what does the lifer always say? You got to trade like a bot. I want to see a break of the 200. I want to see a flag, and I want to see this 21 come up and touch the flag. Now, to be honest, it'd probably look a lot more like this. Up, flag, 200, 21, get across like right about here. That's more or less what it would probably look like. Now, I mean, if you want to kind of state the obvious, there is an inverted head and shoulder kind of look going right there. if you were gonna, the one thing that works on the 1 minute is, and this is if this was Tuesday at 10 p.m. You know, I might, and I don't know, Flare, I don't know how much liquidity Flare really has, but if I was gonna play this, I mean, there's some very obvious support here. Look at that thing, bang, 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 like a lot, many times here. You could just simply throw your stop loss down here and go long on the inverted head and shoulder. If you come down and hit, you're not going to lose much money. You don't full port. Definitely don't full port on a 1 minute trade like that. And, you know, I personally would keep the leverage pretty low, like 15. I like 17x leverage. If you know, you know. Anyways, what else do I want to say for Flare? Let's go look at the 5 minute. Pretty beautiful inverted head and shoulder on the 5 minute. And notice, like, same pattern a lot. Like, we keep seeing the same pattern a lot on all the coins. This is something that the lifer used to talk about, and I just wasn't charting enough. So, like, I wouldn't really see it. And then we got 7 and the 15. I mean, the 15, you could even say you kind of still have. Maybe. Anyways, I don't really have to think about any of this. My style is I don't have to think of any of that until, you know, the 1 minute. Oh, here's another part of kind of strategy that's worth saying. So if the 1 minute did kind of come up here, make a flag, 21 touches, and I decide to get in on that, right? One thing I very much like to do is then go to, like, you know, so I'm in the trade now, right? And then I'm going to pay heavy attention to the 3 minute when we get to this 200, right? Because there's high chance you're going to get rejected. Even if it touches it, rejects, comebacks, touch, rejects, and then goes, right? A lot of times I love to sell that right there. Because I know there's almost always going to be some form of volatility there, right? There's going to be some type of volatility at that. And then once you get past that, say you flag out again above that and the 21 comes up, you know, and then you go to then you get back in, and then the 5 minute comes, and you kind of look. The 5 minute and the 3 are really close together. Usually from there you go look at like the 15, right? Because it'll be way higher. I don't know, I thought that was worth saying. Cool. All right. Let me switch us back over. I wish I had like a quick button just to do the switching back and forth. And that 1 minute alert is going off. Okay, since that alert just went off, I'll take 2 more seconds. All right, but see, you didn't keep it. You didn't close. It's another good point. Just because you hit your alert, then maybe I'll raise it up just a little bit higher, because if it flags out, it's probably going to be higher up there. Make sure I still have an alert once per bar. Yep, perfect. And then we'll wait to see if we see it again. All right, now I'm going to change you over. Cool. And that was Flare for the Blues guy. What's he saying? Oh, wow. I missed a lot of stuff. Emu. Why not both? Underground getting it. I thought it was, yep, I did read that. He just kind of quiet. He is an engineer of some sort. Young cat. I made a whole PDF yesterday of the 12 and 20 strategy. Nice. Above resistance, right at the bottom. Awesome. Let's go. Accumulate. Remember today, low extreme, low price. Do not sleep on it, guys. And yeah, and it's Thursday, so with BTC, you know, you never know when you're gonna get that like random weekend pump, right? But as far as like right this very moment goes, I would lean towards more sideways to maybe light downtrend action over the weekend. But that random weekend pumps, they happen, man. They do. The problem with them is they're really hard to time. And it's low liquidity, so it's really easy to have it pump, get you excited. You know, BTC moves like $2,000 in like, you know, half a day. And then it just spends the rest of, like, say it does that tomorrow on a Friday. It gets everybody excited, like the weekend's going to be a pump. And then it just bleeds out slowly and has these crazy stop hunt wicks because there's low liquidity for the rest of the weekend. I love to stay the heck away from the weekend. It says, let's go. Yep, you just hit that again. So you're getting above the 1 minute 200. All right, tell the dev team from Zcash to go to Flare. Bro, it looks amazing, right? I got my 30 bucks worth. Flare was not moving much when BTC dropped. That's usually a good sign. At least it's very stable. That alert is going off over and over again. That is very annoying. Said I always keep BTC chart open, right, 24/7. Bankroll, very smart thing to do. That's how I know it's about to pop. BTC has its whole own screen at all times. Love that. Yeah. I have a nice like stand-up desk. I like your setup. I know I want to get multiple screens. I went for that. Instead of that, I have multiple laptops. So I have multiple screens, but they're not all controllable from like, you know, one mouse. I might upgrade to that at some point. Yes, above the wicks. Great job. Thank you, sir. Look at the weekly. Look at the support. Huge. And you kind of got to know what kind of trader you are, especially goes to Camsto. Like, are you like a 1 to 3 to 5 or 1, 5, 15 minute like scalper? Even if you are, you should look at the bigger time frames. Are you like somebody who loves to trade like the 15 hour and the 4 hour? That's where I like to hang out most of the time. I've been the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, you know, scalper. I've been that most of my time trading, and it's honestly so much nicer and less stressful. The only time that it's fun to do that, it's good to know both, because when you get really bullish and things are pumping like crazy and it's just like everything's bopping, that's when you move down into those low time frames. All right, it's enough talking about trading right now. I'm always closing too fast. Hey, you never went broke paying the trader though. Like today I was up 30 bucks and closed, and it went up another 60 bucks after. I'm a sniper, short, quick. I trade the 1 second. Okay. All right. So let's go back to our IQ raising event here. I did good on ETH on the 1 second. Yeah, I mean, if you're on the 1 second, you definitely got to in and out, right? And to make any money, you got to be pretty high leverage. Just have good stop losses, man. That's great until it's not. Stablecoins as the settlement layer, okay? So if you don't know, stablecoins are very much just the settlement layer for almost everything. Crypto transactions start in stablecoins and end in stablecoins. They are settlement rails of the ecosystem. How stablecoins enable DeFi. Lending, borrowing, and liquidity depends on predictable value, low volatility. Stablecoins make DeFi mathematically possible. Stablecoins and institutions care about settlement speed, transparency, and liquidity. Stablecoins offer near instant settlement, on-chain auditability, so it can be audited, and programmable compliance. Regulation and stablecoins go hand in hand. Stablecoins attract regulatory attention because they resemble money, they touch payments, and they interface with banks. And you're going to see that more and more and more and more. Regulation shapes how stablecoins evolve, not whether they exist. Why stablecoins persist across cycles, markets crash, narratives fade. Like, who is calling me? Really, though? All right. Yeah, so markets crash, narratives fade, stablecoins remain because users still need stability, businesses still need settlements, and infrastructure still needs a unit of account. They are cycle resistant. Why stablecoins are misunderstood? They often dismissed as boring, centralized, and unexciting. Yeah, that's most retail who doesn't understand what we're going over right now. But infrastructure rarely looks exciting, right, until it disappears. And think about a different type of infrastructure. How excited are you on a daily basis about the plumbing that runs around your city? How excited do you normally get about the power lines that run through your neighborhood? Probably never. But especially if you live in Florida, let you have a hurricane and that power's down. All of a sudden, you see people come out and repair that power line, and people are literally, like, legit cheering in the streets. Especially when the neighborhood has been without power for like 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks. But that doesn't happen very often. I mean, that happens like once every couple of years, maybe 4 or 5 years. I mean, you might have 2 years where it happens like back to back. And then you might have, 4 or 5 years where it doesn't happen at all. And I know for other places, you got tornadoes, you got, snowstorms, you have other crazy weather events, flooding, whatever. But this is very much the same thing. Like, you're not going to care about this stuff until you can't use it, it's not working, or something of that nature. The core insight is stablecoins are not a side feature of crypto. They are the foundation that allows everything to function. Very, very well said, in my opinion. All right, so what are we rolling into? We're rolling into almost 2 hours of being live. And what do we have that we want to look at here? Got to go to my one tabs. One tabs, man, is kind of a life changer. It's a bit of a game changer, I have to say. I love me my one tabs. Except for that one time when they updated and they messed up all of my tabs. That really grinded my gears a little bit. I base my trades on the start of my trade for the setup with the 200. Said I base my trades on the start of my trade setup with 200. I think I understand what you're saying. Put the stop loss right away upside higher. Yep. It's one way, but mainly I base my trades on the 15-minute and the peak at the 1 second to jump in according to the 15-minute. Yeah, I used to do the 1 minute to find every entry for the 15-minute when I want to go in. That can work, but is also a lot of maintenance. All right, where are we at? Yeah, Lifer is the man, of course, but I don't know anything but the fact that the Lifer is awesome. Hey, that's what I know. Of course, the 1 minute. Underground cool too, though. Well, thank you, Camsta. I appreciate that. The 1 minute is your friend till the end, just like the Chucky. Just like Chucky. Okay. Yeah, he went there. All right, what's going on for this? We got crushed. Looks like we lost that trade. And you know what's funny is I wanted kind of to counter trade myself and get this thing down. I was actually hoping we'd be down more than this, right? But look, what I drew out is what happened. The continuation pattern. And this is why I didn't really get into any real trading, is because by this TA we did here, I had a feeling we were going lower, and we did, like, pretty much perfectly, right? Delete. I don't have the back button here. It's annoying. But what do we see here? But my oh my, what do we have here? On the 1 hour. And because this is the 1 hour and it's such a large time frame, I wouldn't feel like, personally, I wouldn't be like, this is go time. Like, I'd honestly let this thing cook a little bit more, right? Definitely would want to see that 21 get a lot closer to price action before I got in. If I was like, if I thought we were like, if it was like, if we were looking at this setup, let me say it this way. If I was looking at this setup, and it was like Monday morning, not Monday night, but Monday morning, then I would be like, if I had like, say, $200 in my account or $100 in my account, I'd be like, let me buy like $10 worth of BTC and put it on like, 17x. And then I would wait to get the rest of my real entry over here. What that does is if we come down a little bit, I can add, even though I wouldn't here because we're so close to the 200, I definitely wouldn't be adding. I wouldn't add to my trade losing the 200, right? Because you can't really be lost on the fact that it looks like there's a high chance you're actually going to get a head and shoulder here. But I like how sideways we're going. That's for sure. And then of course, there's this on the bigger scale there. Really, more than an inverted head and shoulder, what it really looks like to me is your cup with a handle. Get rid of that. All the crazy squiggles. Yeah, so I'd be chilling. I'm not going to jump in here at all. Actually, I should jump in because I want this to get crushed. So let's see. If I went long, where would my stop loss be? 92,000? Oh, that's for a short. It'd be 90,000. 161. Ooh, that's a little bit down. I don't know if we'll quite go to that. Oh, well. I wish I could be a little bit more caring. I would care about this demo account a lot more if I could get it down to like less than $1,000 or something. Then I would care about it a lot more. But honestly, I just don't really care about it that much. When you're at 20,000, like, I just feel like nobody feels relevant to 20,000 at all. Who out here's got an account with 20 grand in it? Chris Goss in the house. Thank you for being here. We are rolling into 2 hours into the stream. Not the restaurant underground, the puppet. What restaurant? Oh, you're talking about like Chuck E. Cheese? I was not thinking Chuck E. Cheese. I was thinking Chucky the horror movie. That's what I was thinking. But that's funny. Chuck E. Cheese. I ain't thought about a Chuck E. Cheese in a long, long time. Call of the Wild. Save up to 65% and earn rare animals by doing what? Spend 1 CFB in store, get XP points. All right, well, I'm in. Let me get that. Let's hit that daily reward. Let's see if I get anything useful. I get 50 cents and what is it? CBS or I don't even know. CFB. To all missions. Let's claim all the things that there are to claim. Sorry I've been so busy tonight. It's all right, Bankroll. Thank you for at least coming back and saying something. I appreciate you hopping back on for a minute saying something. Yeah, the horror movie. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. For sure. It's like surveys and dumb stuff to get. I don't know. The only time these are really good to do is when there's something that you would have already downloaded anyways, and they're going to give you a lot for it. And then in this situation, then you could do the little task and then get a bunch of CFB, like 4,000 CFB. And then you could go buy some stuff for your farm. And that would help you, make money a little faster, and you got it for free. That wouldn't be so bad. I'm always trying to find the opportunity in these. The problem in my experience with most of these things is that they die too quick. By the time I get for free without dropping actual money, because I've made that mistake too many times, enough gear to really start, like say I started making, I don't know, $1 a day or something like that, where like in, 50 days I can buy something to drastically help myself by then the whole thing is crashing. So I'll be eager to see. If this thing crashes and burns, I will be the least surprised person you ever saw. And what do we got to? 0.0003 BNB. But it compounds, right? Like you kind of have to, if you want to give it a chance, it's like you have to play it until you open some things. Like here's a really, honestly, this game that I'm about to play is stupid, right? It's kind of point and click. It's not fun. The only reason there is to complete this daily is to get that free NFT. That's it. That's the only reason why I complete this daily, is to get that free NFT. And with that free NFT, I don't know, I might get capability to actually earn a little bit more. And if I do that daily, then I could put myself in a good position. It's always a matter of how long will it last. But and then people be like, well, that's just stupid. You know, I get burned constantly. Things don't last. Like, what's the point? Well, then what's the point of anything? Like, just tell yourself that you're never going to play a DeFi game ever again and move on with your life. You know? It's all... And then you see people who it's like they got into this like little game or this little coin. They started earning on this little protocol. And then the thing 2 years later went crazy. And they made like, you know, $30,000 off of it. Well, you can't be, this is what I realized a long time ago. You can't be that guy who made all of this off of literally nothing if you're not the guy who's playing it when it's literally not doing anything for your wallet, right? It's just risk and reward. Now, obviously, sometimes the risk and reward is just not, they don't match. And I get that. I'm just saying it's like a personal choice. It's just like another thing. Like, if you can't watch a coin go up 30x and still hold it, not saying you necessarily should hold it, but then here's what I'm trying to say. You can't 100x a coin. Everybody wants 100x, but how many people would hold the coin when they were up 40x? You're up 40x on your investment. How many people would hold it? That's one thing. And then I'll be honest, many of the times where I've had a situation like that and I've held the coin, it never made it to 100x, and I really should have sold it. So, you know, there's that. It's a hard thing to navigate. You just got to kind of make your choices and live with it. I don't know why this is not working. It's the honest truth. Sometimes you just got to make a decision and rock with it. And not stress like 24/7 about it. Oh, they trying to cook me. Nah, I need that NFT. I can't let them get me like that. Ooh, a heart. Need that heart. Man, I need that. Freaking explosive there. Damn, they got me again. Got him. Get that heart. Get that heart. It's a good thing these things can't shoot at you. I'd be dead in like 3 seconds if they could. Damn, I did get that heart. Alright, cool. Alright, I'm over 1,000, so I don't really care anymore. All I wanted is that stupid NFT. Or whatever. I think they're NFTs. I don't even know actually if they're legitimate NFTs or not. I do like that it uses immutable X. Yes, while I'm doing this, I'm not very good at being able to read the chat right this second. This is DeFi gaming. We're actually, even if it's very small, we are earning BNB. And some in-game currency, but I'm mostly focusing on BNB so that maybe I could actually cash out at some time. I don't really know, though. I don't really know if there's a minimum on the cash out. I haven't really checked that yet. That would be good to know, right? Oh, I'm about to make it to like 2,000. All right, at this point, I'm just kind of like, who cares here? Like, get me out of this. I don't know. I thought that was a good school of thought. You know, everybody wants to 100x. Everybody wants to, like, especially in the dream of DeFi gaming, it's like get in on a project early and generate the token somehow, and then the token goes bananas, and then you make tons of money. And it's just like, yeah, well, if you're not playing the game when very little people believe in it, and very few people are using it, like, how is that gonna happen? Like, how are you gonna be in that position? And be honest, a lot of times you're also gonna absolutely waste your time. It's like, for real, you're gonna play a lot of games that waste your time before you make anything that matters off of any of them. I really didn't want to get stuck in this corner. Oof. It's like I don't want to die, but at the same time, like, I really do want to be taken out here. I don't know if they give me better stuff depending on, like, how long I make it. Kind of like testing that out here. Do I get like a really good NFT if I like stand the test of time? But what if like I get really good at this game and then like I can survive forever? Then I'll be really annoyed because I don't want to do that. And with that, it's probably time to end it. Dang it, I hit a TNT. That keeps me going. What if you could just bounce from like TNT to TNT? All right, later, Camsta. There we go. Finally out. Thank goodness. Merkaba. Did we get a new person in here? Everything runs on BSV. Okay. Merkaba Life, you're I don't know if you're still here. It was kind of the end of our show. So, well, it's not the end of the show. Sorry. It's the underground hangout part of the show where we hang out as a community and talk about all kinds of stuff. So feel free to ask about stuff. Everything runs on BSV. Merkaba, would you, or Merkaba, sorry. Would you like to tell us more about that? I mean, Merkaba Life. I know, I understand what you're about right there. I got a big client on the phone with locked in big money play for tomorrow. Hey, good for you, brother. Good for you. Business is a booming, he says. All right, do I get something better? See, and then I got like common fertilizer growth, so it's just like that is helpful to upgrade stuff, but like that wasn't really worth going the extra mile there. But now I know. All right, and we move on to something else. Man, you know, it's so weird. For a while, Thursdays was one of our like really strong days for the channel. And the last couple Thursdays have been kind of lame. Yeah, Panzers. For sure. You ready? Says he'll try. All right, I'll hit you with the invite. Pretty close to opening a box here. Got 600 scrap. Pretty decked out now. I like would have to get something really good to change me up. I wouldn't mind having like some different turrets and stuff for different play styles. Let's play a couple of games of like deathmatch, and then let's go ahead and switch over. Let's switch over to King of the Hill. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry if the energy was down a little bit today, guys. I do apologize. I see Flair's doing something. Oh, yeah. It got up, and then it just lost to 200 again. Seems kind of range-bound right now. Nice. There's some good teamwork there. And whenever I hop off, if you're available, Blues guy, I was going to hit you up. If you're not busy, we talk about a few things. Oh, man. I've got to go take a piss so bad. I've been chugging these teas and coffee and all of that stuff. Sure. Okay. You got to work tomorrow, Blues guy? I don't want to keep you up late. Not that it's really late at this point. Flair doing all kinds of stuff here. Why the heck does it keep... Okay, it's just giving me an old alert. Yeah. It went down and wiped liquidity. Yep. Very, very treacherous on the 1 minute for Flair. Free all weekend. Okay, I thought that's what you said. All right, let's go. He did not want to come in here, huh? I'm forever shooting in the wrong spot. Yo, he has so much health. It is ridiculous. How you gonna drive right by him and not even shoot him? That's crazy. All right, I didn't see what's the big... Ooh, Blues guy, you need some health. Oh, they have this. Okay. Got him. Bang. Yo, that Grasho, he has so much health. It's kind of ridiculous. I didn't mean to grab that health. Sorry, Blues guy. I definitely did not mean to grab that. At least I think I grabbed it. I don't really know. Oof. Oh, man. I don't know how he missed me with that. That was wild. I don't even know if he did miss me with it. It looks like it took a bunch of damage. Yo, I put all shots on point with him. Got him. Is it me you was looking for? Dang, dude, this thing is so glitchy. I'm so surprised that Blues Guy hasn't got kicked out. I don't know if it was glitchy for you. But it was glitchy for me. All right, let's play one more. Let's see, what are we at here? We are at 2 hours and 8 minutes. Let's play one more and then I'm going to hop off. I do have always a lot of stuff to do. I even have like a video that I need to make tonight. Shots fired a little early there. Bang, bang. Just running away. Quit running away, man. Come back. Let's go. Gotta really take a minute and center those shots, not just be firing all over the place. It's getting me. Like I just did. Basically, don't do what I just did. All right, that's a wrap. And that's a wrap for me, as I think it's literally just me and Blues Guy at this point. I didn't see... I think Melissa's probably still here. I didn't see Melissa hop off. All right, guys. Well, you know what it is. It was a great stream. I'm going to open a box if I got one. Oh, so close to another box, but... I don't know if I got another game in me here. Ah, bronze. Bronze bar? Nope. Equip. All right, well, it'll be easy to get one tomorrow. You know what it is. Stay underground. Stay crypto. Thank you for coming to the channel. All of that fun stuff. Oh, the chat is like populating from previous stuff. I thought that's stuff people were saying right now. Free all weekend, a little. Awesome, awesome. She's sleeping. All right. Well, I'll be talking to you shortly, Blues Guy. Stay underground, stay crypto. Crypto Run out. And thank you, Blues Guy, for the super chat. You're the best.